Hey guys, and welcome to another Mirror Cup PvP video, and in this video we'll be going through the updated Boulder Cup meta and taking a look at the changes that have been made since the January tournament. But just quickly, according to analytics, there's about an 80% chance that you right now are not subscribed, so if you want to get all the info on the new Silver Cups and PvP in general, hit that subscribe button and I'd really appreciate it. But jumping straight into what you're actually here for, the meta infographic, so here we are. There's a lot of lines, but we'll go through each and every part of it, and by the end of the video you should understand everything that's on here. So starting off with the power up punches up in the top left, and they've got something that's pretty clear from the name, and that is power up punch. So Metachan was already a cornerstone of the Boulder Cup before he had it, and now that he does, he's just a monster. So the puppers can beat the tanks such as Steelix and Melmetal and Bastiodon in the bottom left, as well as being able to beat Skarmory in the 2-shield matchup now, because of Power Up Punch, which he couldn't do before. He also beats the Mud Boys, including the fresh new Community Day Swampert. Torterra is actually able to beat Metacham in the 2-shield matchup, and with that, he's actually only one of the very few Pokemon in the entire Cup that can actually win in that 2-shield matchup. So, and that's alongside the also new to the Boulder Cup Charm, when Charm is on Glade and Donphan. So those are pretty much the three that are able to beat Metacham in the 2 shields. And assuming Metacham does have shields, it will be able to beat out the other 2 Confusions, also on the right hand side, so that's Bronzong and Jirachi, also new faces. And yes, that's right, you can actually run Glade as a Confusion user or a Charm user. Both are actually really viable in this cup. They're pretty similar and almost have identical matchups, but with Charm you lose to the Mud Boys and are able to beat Metacham in the 2 shield, whereas Confusion is the other way around. So Confusion loses to Metacham but does beat the Mud Boys. So whatever you need in your team, one or the other. I would assume you need to beat Metacham though, so you're probably going to be running Charm. But there was a lot of words there, so to boil it down, Metacham beats Bronzong and Jirachi, loses to Charm, Glade and Torterra in the 2 shield matchup. So speaking of Torterra, he's able to handily beat the tanky bottom left, Steelix, Melmetal, Probopass, etc., as well as handily taking out the Mud Boys with he's got Razor Leaf. He's just going to wreck those guys who are quad super duper weak to the grass typing. And he's also able to beat Glade, but he does lose out to Jirachi and Bronzong, so not beating all the Confusion users there. He also loses to Skarmory, which makes sense because he's got that flying grass matchup. But moving on to the right hand side, we've got the Confusion-ish users. I say ish because Glade you can run as Confusion or Charm. Skarmory's able to beat all of them, but Bronzong and Jirachi are able to take down the other guys in the bottom left, the anti-Skarm guys, the Steelix, Melmetal, etc. They do beat out both Glade variants though, so both Charm and Confusion will lose to Steelix, etc. They all have iffy matchups with the Mud Boys, and depending on shielding situations, so I would recommend checking them specifically when you go into actually building your team. And the Mud Boys do have the new member of Swampert, who is able to be, he's just great in the Boulder Cup basically. He's not quite exclusively better than the other Mud Boys, but I'll go into it now. He's able to beat down Skarmory, whereas Skarmory actually beats Whiscash, so he wins that matchup that was previously lost by the Mud Boys, which is fantastic. They do both lose to Torterra, obviously, and they beat the tanks, both of them, so, they're pretty similar in most cases. It's just Swampert does have that extra Skarmory win. Then they're both kind of iffy with the Confusion users, slash Charm users, you know what I mean. And the tanks seem to be losing a lot, but their main role isn't to beat those other things, it's to take down Skarmory, who is the king of this meta, basically, even though Metacham seems like it, I don't know. Skarmory, Metacham, they are the kings, basically, they are the two. So, interestingly though, the tanks actually lose to the sub-Skarmory, the replacement Skarmory, not really a replacement, the Sideman Gliscor. Now, this isn't really enough to bring Gliscor onto your team instead of Skarmory, but if you want to go a bit left of field, then Gliscor may be something you want to consider. It's certainly got a place in the meta, so, look into it if you really want to, but stick with Skarmory. And throughout the video, I've gone over every single one of Skarmory's matchups, but seeing as that he is at the heart of this infographic, we'll go through them again really quick. He loses now to Metacham because of Power Out Punch and some of the other fighters depending on shielding, and also loses to the tanky Scarf Slayers in the bottom left. He can also beat out all of the Confusion users plus Charm, including Charm Blade, and he beats out Whiscash but loses to Swampert. And with all of that, that's it. You've got a great footing to begin your journey. Yeah, you're good now with the Boulder Cup, Mirror Cup, Boulder Mirror Cup, Mirror Boulder Cup, Mirror Boulder Cup. So yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, especially that subscribe one, and I'll see you in the next video.